Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I'm here with a little something different. Today I'm going to be sharing all of the things that I love. Well, a few of them anyway. All of the things that I love are over linked at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I also have a giveaway going of some of these favorite things that I'm going to be showing to you today, as well as an exclusive discount code for ellenhudson.com where you can save 10% off your entire order now through December 14th. So be sure to check that out. But today, as I go through this project, I really want to talk about the tools and the products that I'm using because that's what it's all about, these favorite things. And I'm just going to kind of let you watch me walk through this as I kind of talk about some of these products. So you saw me there with my Fiskars Sure-Cut trimmer. I love that trimmer. It has a nice wire guide. I get nice, great cuts with it. And the titanium blades give me really nice smooth edges and last for a really long time. So I've gone ahead and cut down some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock with that. And now I'm inking up this Mondo Magnolia stamp. This is from the Essentials by Ellen Line. It is one of my favorite stamp sets of the year. It has great sentiments, but I also love this giant flower image. It is just enough to be the focal point on a card. And you can see here, I've inked it up in some VersaFine Black Onyx ink because I'm going to be clear heat embossing it, which is what I'm doing here. Now, the VersaFine Black Onyx ink is great because it's not only good for sentiments and getting a really great crisp black image, but you can also use it to emboss, which is what I've done here because it's a pigment ink. Now moving on, I'm going to do a little watercoloring, and I'm using these brushes. These are a part of a Ranger brush set. I have them linked over at my blog. I love it because it comes with several different brushes, and they're pretty good quality brushes, and the price point is great. Now, along with the brushes that I'm using, I'm also using the Kuretake Gansai Tombi watercolors. These are some of my favorite watercolors. You're going to see as I watercolor here the intensity that you can get with these colors. Now, this is really vibrant and intense because I'm using very little water. But if you want a very soft and subtle watercolor look, you can also achieve that with these watercolors, which is why I like them so much. You can see how creamy they are and how beautiful they go on, how vibrant you can get them, but just by adding more water, you can get a more subdued look as well. So I'm going to go ahead and heat this again with that Hero Arts embossing gun. This embossing gun is a really great quality, and it lasts a really long time. So I recommend investing in something like that because tools are always something that are great to invest in. Now, speaking of tools, I love my Big Shot. I don't think that there's a card that I make that I don't use it. And I also love this precision base plate and my gold glitter cardstock. You knew the gold glitter cardstock was going to be in this favorites, right? So the reason I love the precision base plate is these intricate dies like this, which is a part of the Essentials by Ellen zipper panel die set. They cut beautifully with this precision base plate. Even with that gold glitter cardstock, which can be tricky sometimes, you get a really great cut. Now I'm also cutting this same die cut out of some Neenah Solar White cardstock and some Basil Card Shop cardstock in Licorice Twist. I love the Basil Card Shop cardstock. I've linked some of my favorite colors over at my blog, so be sure to check those out. And now I'm going to stack up these die cuts. Now, most recently, you've probably heard me talk about this Zig two-way glue pen. It's something that I've had in my stash for a really long time, but I've recently rediscovered it, and I am really loving using it. It has a really fine tip, like a ballpoint pen. I can put precision amounts of glue onto these tiny little die cuts like this for when I'm stacking them up or other small pieces. And it gives me a little open time, but it also sets up fairly quickly. So it's not like the multi-matte medium, I love it for certain things, but it stays wet for a really long time. This dries fairly quickly and it gives me a good solid bond. And so you can see I'm using it here to stack up these die cuts and then add that gold glitter cardstock on the top. Now I'm also going to use the same Zig two-way glue pen to add a shadow to the back of this die cut as well. And of course, you're going to see me use my favorite EK Success tweezers to kind of position that on there. Now, I'll use these again later. You see me use them all the time to position things on my card, as well as to add sequins to the front of my cards. Now, some of my favorite papers for the year are the Essentials by Ellen Vellum, the We Are Memory Keepers Clearly Bold Acetate, as well as this Avery Elle Neutrals 6x6 pad, which I'm cutting a little piece of that black and white striped paper from that. Now, I'm going to use my EK Success Precision Scissors. That is very hard to say, by the way. Just say it once out loud. You'll know what I'm saying. I had to redo that like 18 times to get precision scissors out. But I love them because they're nice and small and compact. They're sharp and they have a nice precision tip on them. So I get great cuts every time. And I'm also going to use my Tombow Stamp Runner adhesive. Now, I kind of go back and forth between the Stamp Runner adhesive and the ATG gun. I like them both. They're both good, firm adhesive. This Stamp Runner has kind of a dot pattern instead of a solid adhesive pattern. So sometimes it's easier to rub off of surfaces if you accidentally put too much, or if you want to remove something, because we all know that we put things where we don't mean to put them at times. And sometimes it's nice to have a forgiving adhesive for that, but it does give a nice firm hold. So what I'm just doing with these is just adding a little bit of adhesive to these to temporarily adhere them to that Essentials by Ellen Vellum, while I go ahead and run this through my sewing machine. Now, for my sewing machine, I am using a little metallic thread here. You can see I've run it through my sewing machine a couple of times there. And I love the DMC Gold metallic thread. I use that. You can use that in your sewing machine as well as on the card front for embellishments. You've seen me do messy nests with it as well. Once I got that sewed down, I wanted to go ahead and pull the gold thread to the back so I don't have loose strings on the front. And this craft pick is great for little things like that, as well as getting little intricate die cuts out of dies and those sorts of things. So it's one of those things that it's multi-purpose. It's really great to have around. It's also great for piercing paper as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add my favorite embellishment. You knew this was coming. These are the Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Sequins. I find myself using the 8mm, the 6mm, and the 4mm the most. And of course, I always use the multi-medium in the matte finish to adhere those on. I just find it gives a great firm hold and it dries matte, so if it squishes out the edge, you don't see it on the front of the card. Now for my card base, I'm using my Martha Stewart scoreboard to score that piece of Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. And I'm going to use a background stamp to add some texture to this card base. I'm inking this background stamp up in some Hero Art Unicorn White pigment ink, and then I'm going to stamp it onto the card base. Now, background stamps, I love this wood grain one here. It is so versatile, but background stamps are a great item to have in your stash because they're a great, easy way to add texture to your card bases or to cover large areas. You can also do partial inking techniques with them. You don't have to cover the entire card, but I recommend having a few basics in your stash. I've linked my favorite ones over on my blog for you. Now, for cleaning up stamps, I use the absorber, but I also use the Hero Arts Ultra Clean. I spray it right on my absorber, and you're going to see that this cleans up beautifully with this. Now, some people use baby wipes and a stamp scrubber, and that works great as well. I'm just finding that this is easy for me. I keep them in a little container in my little cart that I keep by my desk, these absorbers as well as that Hero Arts Ultra Clean, and I can quickly clean up my stamps, and I'm not using a bunch of baby wipes that I'm throwing away. So another one of my favorite adhesives is the Be Creative tape. I used it on the back of the threads earlier. I'm also using it on this glitter cardstock. Glitter cardstock can be hard to adhere because it has so much texture. So you need a really good, firm, strong adhesive. And I love it because you can tear it, but you also get a good, firm hold. And moving on to another one of my favorite adhesives is the 3M foam tape. Now, I love this also because you can tear it, but this is a great way to add dimension to your cards, and a little bit of this goes a long way. You've seen I've covered the entire card back here or the card front here because it's a watercolor piece and I wanted to make sure it stayed flat. But I'm telling you, this is the surefire way to add interest to your card because dimension automatically adds interest. Now, for the last of my favorite adhesives, this is not the last of them. I have more linked over on my blog, but the last one I'm going to use today, Glossy Accents. It's a great firm adhesive, but you can also use it to embellish your cards. And I totally think you need to have those precision tips on both your multi-matte medium and your glossy accents. It makes applying them to small areas super easy. So here's a look at my finished card for today. Don't forget to head on over to my blog where I'll have all of the things that I love linked over there, as well as an exclusive discount code for you and a giveaway that ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on December 10th. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the things that I love. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.